Hello everyone, my name is Paul Turpak, and today I am going to be talking about the famous poet Dante Alighieri. The early life of Dante. Dante was born in Florence, Italy in around 1265, although the actual date of his birth is not known. Dante's father was Alighieri de Bellancioni. He was a guelph, which means he fought to support the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor at the time. This leads to speculations that Dante may have come from a prestigious background. Dante's mother died when he was only 10, unfortunately, but his father soon remarried and had two other children, which were his half-brother and half-sister. At age 12, Dante was promised in marriage to Gemma di Minato Donati of the powerful Donati family. However, Dante had already fallen in love with Beatrice Portinari, who he didn't really know well, but it was more of a love at first sight thing, and he later mentioned Beatrice, who he addressed as Beachy, in some of his poems. Dante also fought as a guelph like his father, and he later joined the Physicians and Apothecaries Guild, where he was revered and made important decisions behind the poetry. Dante's main reason for his poetry was the aforementioned Beatrice Portinari. He did not know her well, but this brought about the idea of courtly love, which was very popular during the time. Courtly love is focused on the chivalry and nobility towards women. Dante brought together the styles of previous poets to create and highlight new features of love. Arguably, his most famous work was the Divine Comedy, which he completed in 1320. Comedy in the time period meant that the ending focuses more on reaching an ultimate good rather than about ending being interesting or resulting in some kind of happiness. Broken into three parts, the Divine Comedy talks about his journeys through hell, purgatory, and heaven. This particular style that he used to write the Divine Comedy helped unify a standard of written language at the time and ultimately helped start the Renaissance. Dante's later life. Dante was actually exiled after a different sect of the Guelphs took control of power. He was part of what is known as the White Guelphs, and shortly after he was in power with them, the Black Guelphs came and murdered several people and took control of the power of the city of Florence. Dante was also charged with corruption after he served as the city's prior, which was the highest position available, and dealt with finances of the city. Dante was sentenced to death and tried to restore the power of the White Guelphs several times, but ultimately failed. After dodging a sentence for many years and moving to Ravenna, it was speculated that Dante died due to malaria that he contracted when he went on a mission trip. The legacy of Dante. Several years after his death, the city of Florence apologized for his exile and wanted to showcase his remains. Although they had built him a tomb in Florence, his body remains in Ravenna where he died. The city of Florence and Ravenna could not reach an agreement to bring his body back to Florence, and they actually constructed a false wall in one of the tombs so that if the people of Florence ever came looking for him, they would not be able to find his body. Dante's face was later reconstructed by the University of Bologna to give us a more accurate description of what he really looked like. On the last page here, I put some pictures because I couldn't fit them on the slides with the talking points. The first picture on the left here is his reconstructed face. On the far left is a frontal view of what he looked like compared to the far right, where he's mostly portrayed. And then the middle picture is his death mask, which is sculpted on the face of a corpse to keep like an accurate representation of the face of the deceased. But this particular death mask here was speculated to be sculpted a little bit later after he died and may not truly be his real face. And then on the far right is the tomb in Florence where his body should be, but instead is in Ravenna.